Welcome. Welcome. I said 5 to 10, and it was 10 minutes and 40 seconds. That's not all that bad. Nothing has changed in this setup, so I'm assuming that my microphone is working just fine. So what's up, Protein Riviere? Ooh, I had a lot to do, but I am now fresh and clean and ready to do what we were going to do today. So on the agenda today is telling Discord. It's just like when I was doing Uptilt Gaming, you know. I'd always forget all the other things. So we're doing, I'm going to tweet it, I'm going to Bluesky it, I'm going to Discord it. And then we're going to get into it. Today's going to be a general FAQ day about Windows 10 end of life because I feel that is the biggest traffic bringer right now. And then secondly, throughout this, I'm going to go and do a budget build PC parts shopping guide. But there's a twist on that because my budget and my builds are different than what other budget builds would be. I've also got some gripes, so I'm sure you'll hear those later. But let's start with the Discord. Which one is our Discord? Oh yeah, the annoying part is like the live stream changes links, right? So like I can't just save the same link. I have to go through every single time. Oh, my light. I have to go through every time and change it. There we go. That's a little bit better. I still need to have something this side. No, over here. Still need to kind of have something over there. I don't know what yet though. But what is my link? Let's see, this, and there's the link. Okay. Did I spell budget right? I don't think is that how you spell budget? Am I that wealthy that I don't know how to spell budget? Because I can't tell if I'm not spelling it right or if I just don't have like the spell check. Okay, no, I spelled it right. Okay. That's not how you spell budget. Oh, we also have a little celebration as well. That not Uptilt Gaming, the Dontech has officially surpassed 3,000 watch hours. And I have submitted my application for part 1 in monetization. So that is quite awesome. All right, I will just copy and paste the same thing on Twitter to Bluesky. I have a video that I need to release tomorrow that's not ready yet. It's almost ready. How do I, what do we call them on Bluesky? How do I sky it? How do I reach for the sky? All right. Okay, and then I want to do let's see. Let me do that, and then I think I can pin the message, right? Pin that message. Boom. I don't care. If anybody else says anything better than that, boom. I like it. I need to get some elements so it kind of shows like subscriptions. There's no activity feed, like something logged out of elements. And login was like stream elements logged me out. Of like everything. And so I can only see like one thing of YouTube chat says you need to be logged in to use this feature. You know, it would be nice if you told me where. There's no buttons to log in. It's just, hey, you're not logged in. Am I recording? Yes, it's recording. Not like it really matters though, because this goes right to live. But I guess that's how that is. All right. All right. And then I need to get Amazon ready. Oh. Okay, that should be fine. Let me check out that scene real quick. So we should be doing what? Computer browse and Brave browser. Boom. Okay. So that is essentially what we're going for. I just searched up the board that I currently have. It was the easiest one to find. But I'm going to be on Amazon. Can I do F10? No, F11. Yeah, that looks smoother, nicer, I guess. So we'll kind of see. But we're going to be doing a part shopping thing today. Should we go to PC? We should also do PC parts picker. I think we should do that as well. We're going to start another build. And as we go through the entire list, we will add everything as well. When I get ready for that, that's going to be another video that will be also edited from this live stream. Because I've had questions, a lot of questions about a budget build. And there's a lot of stuff when it comes to building a budget-based PC that the word gets thrown around in such a way where people just go on Amazon, they sort by lowest price, and that's what they buy for a budget build. And that worked better back in the day when I did my first computer because the components weren't all absolute garbage. But now, yeah, you really need to have some better changes when it comes to budget building. So we're going to do a budget build the Don way. So I'm probably going to be sitting about here. And I want to adjust the camera to be like a little bit smaller. Hey, there's the Dontech. Where's that from? And then I also want to get that to be a little bit smaller. See, the really difficult part is I can't see how it looks until I unselect it, deselect it. Let's get rid of the Dontech. Wait, no, let's move it over. Yeah. Well, that looks kind of bad with the border. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Well, maybe I can make this. I mean, I want to be kind of like, you know, big. You know what I mean? Maybe we can do something like that. Oh, wrong thing. Let's lock down the Brave browser there so I don't accidentally move that. And so I got to get close to see how that actually looks though, because That's not bad. In the infinite wisdom that is OBS, when you want to move an element, it creates a big old border around it. So when you have a border that you're trying to line up with another border, but you got a border around that border, you can't see the border. So, always fun. But let's see, the stuff with the channel, we do have Windows 10 end of life coming in less than a month. And I'm seeing things being tweeted about it, how people are freaking out. Oh no, it's a big deal. Oh no, it's a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. Not only do you get the free updates for an entire year afterwards for free with an easy sign up, I've got a video that's going to demonstrate exactly that, releasing tomorrow, probably about 10:30 Central, as long as I can get everything else rendered with it. And get some water. But I also am not ready with Windows 10 end of life. I'm just not. But like I said, I'm not really worried about it. So when I was running Windows 7 end of life, for however long that was, I ran it for 3 years after support ended without any extended security updates. And my operating system was actually broken at that point. So I hadn't gotten updates maybe for a year or two previously. So it's not really a big deal. Most of my PCs can just explode and it would be okay. I don't have usually any one single piece of data on one computer that if it's gone, the worst thing ever happened, you know? So there are some things here and there, but it's not anything that's like, oh no, the worst thing ever. So I try to keep things saved on external devices, on cloud backups, and other things that make it so that I have accessibility in other scenarios. And so it's not really a big deal if something terrible happens to it. I did do my online banking on that computer though, but really it's fine. It's up to the banks to really be more secure and then the browsers to be more secure in that front. So yeah, that'll be fun. I miss Windows 7 though. I get comments of people saying they're using Windows 7. Yeah. Granted, I'd love to go back to XP. Every now and again, I'm fortunate enough to work on a Windows XP box. I love it. It takes you back. Hearing the noises, seeing it go back through, seeing how fast it loads on a mechanical drive, and how almost Windows XP is probably almost faster on a mechanical drive than Windows 11 is on a standard solid-state drive. I mean, it's that dramatic of a difference. So it's pretty crazy. But let's see. So it's 12:20 my time. I'm probably going to be live till about 2:30. 3 o'clock, maybe. The build guide will probably be about an hour straight. Which reminds me, I need to get my Word document out, and I need to do my stream timestamps, so that way I'll know where we're at when we're at it. That'll help a ton. But let's see here. Some updates on the channel. 2,287 subscribers, which is awesome. Today we passed 3,000 watch hours. But on my earning tab, I can't see that anymore because I am in the application review process. So when I go to my earning tab, I don't see my statistics. I just see that I'm getting reviewed, which may take up to a month. But I think within a month, we're going to be fully monetized. So maybe it's 2 birds, 1 stone. Maybe. That could be nice. Or something goes wrong with the YouTube system, and they just up and monetize everything. That wouldn't be too bad. Let's see here. I got some comments to reply to real fast. Only at least 2 comments. Easy peasy. I also still have my N64 right next to me. That didn't move. I have not been in the studio all week. I came in on Monday. I did the testing. I did all that stuff with that live stream. And then that was pretty much it. It's been a blur. I can't believe it's already Thursday. And I already have so much more stuff that I got to get taken care of. It's crazy, but it's fun. All right, we got that. And then we're going to go coincide with Amazon. Don't be playing. We don't care about the football. We're not here for the football. We're here for the PC parts. Can we? So I usually, on Amazon itself, I don't need hauls. Department, I would imagine. Electronics. Is it a electronic? Is it technically computers? Or is it computer parts? We're going for computer, not peripherals. But what would they call a graphics card? Computer components. All right, are those up here? Computer components. There we go. Computer components. Easy enough. All right, so we're at about the 30-minute mark, about 3 more minutes. I'll probably be ready to go through the budget build, and I'll have no problem stopping in the middle of doing what I'm doing, taking a mini break, and then talking to you guys about any Windows 10 questions you may have. So feel free to chat along and everything like that. It's not a big deal. If you have any questions about the parts and why I'm picking what I'm picking, why is this not showing up the same that I'm seeing? Let me modify that real quick. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and then I can address anything live on stream as well. Wow, okay, is the resolution that big of a difference? Okay, we'll lose a little bit on the right there, but that's fine. We don't need anything on the right. Maybe a little bit on the... Maybe there. That would be okay. We don't really need anything else. And if we do the... I don't need to do full screen because I need to eventually go to PC Parts Picker. And what was my list of how I organize these when I'm shopping? Because I don't do it in the same list like these guys do, CPU, cooler, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to follow my same other PC parts shopping guide that I did, which I guess I need to go to on my playlist to see exactly what that was. So what did we start with? What was the... okay, never mind. Can't go to the playlist. The playlist is a little bit confusing there to me. I'll go to my actual video. So we started with the motherboard, processor, case, RAM, drive, cooler, graphics card, and then power supply. So those 8 components in that order, to me, makes the most sense when you're building a PC. I guess we're going... We'll go and start that budget PC build guide and everything. Do I kind of want to be like more over here? Is that nice? Kind of more in the center piece of it all? Yeah. I want something here that can show like the statistics. Like a cool well, if it's it could be a cool graphic. Wait, hold on. Let's get the Dantec. Let's bring that back up. Don't be locked. Come here. There we go. Let's go over here. Is that stupid? I can't tell if that's stupid or not. I think it's because the way it is toppled on top of itself, the Dantec, it looks kind of stupid, but whatever. But the benefits is that if I can do an intro and an outro in the actual stream, that saves me a lot of time from having to do something post-production. It's a lot nicer that way. So when I'm editing, it's just like, okay, here's my start, here's my end, everything in between, we can cut it all out. I also like talking to myself, if that wasn't made obvious. So, can I have my water closer to me that is like... Nope, gotta be over there, still in frame. So I think I'm gonna get some music going too. but just for me, because that's how it should be. What music are we doing today, chat? What music are we going to do today? I don't know. We'll figure out something. So, all right, so the budget PC build guide shall commence. So, what's up, everybody? Wait, that's not the intro. The intro has to be like a hook in the beginning, right? So what would that be for this one? So I can get the hook out of order, but it's okay. But it'd be like something about think that you can build a budget PC for under $500? Well, think again. Let's see. Budget PCs. And I feel like I need a different. Let me do a nice callback. The website that's still under construction. You know. I don't know if that's necessary though. But either way. What's up, Big G? How you doing, my friend? Glad the chat is working. Nice to see, nice to see. So it's something like, forget everything you think you know about budget builds. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what a good budget build looks like and why you might not be able to save as much money as you think. What's up, everybody? It's the Don with the Don Tech, and follow me on this journey as we go through on Amazon and PC Parts Picker and find a budget build that is fit for the Don Tech. Now, if you may know, I have been in the computer repair field for, well, almost 20 years. I was going to say well over 20 years, but that's not accurate. I have fixed and built over 20,000 PCs in my career, and I deal and build more PCs in a week than most people will deal with in their entire lifetime. So I have seen the parts that fail, and I've seen the parts that last. So I've had a lot of questions on what it takes to build a PC, but within a budget. And I'm going to see what we can do, and we're going to shop for the Don Tech's PC build that is on a budget. I'm gonna try to get the price as low as possible. So right now, let me know if you think it's gonna be under 1,000 or over 1,000, because I've got some ideas, but we'll see where we end up. That wasn't bad. That was pretty good. All one solid shot. I like it. Let me go back to the other windows here. So with my PC part shopping guide, when I do that, I'm always shopping for quality, reliability. Wait, hold on. I can redo that because I can make that better because I need a full, I want to throw it exactly back to what it was. I'm gonna go back to my other video and kind of watch that. I don't have my script next to me. Okay, got it right there. Should have watched your videos first. Almost fried my CPU. Oh man. I will tell you exactly the right things to do. I do have a build guide. It's about an hour long, but you cannot make them quick. That's the thing. They just can't be quick. Okay, so a throwback to my first PC build guide was I really was focusing on needs, brand, power requirements, compatibility, and future-proofing. And we're going to go through whether or not those things still can really apply in a budget build, but a lot of those things still really apply in any PC that you would actually build, but there's some changes that we need to make when we're going on a budget. We're still going to be sticking with our general needs, which is going to be a gaming PC, but also content creation PC. The brand is going to be extremely important for those power requirements. I should move this over here so I can kind of see it. We're not really going to focus on future proofing. Wait, I don't need that. Okay, what are we going to go for? What are we going to go for? Budget builds are different because you don't necessarily need to focus as much on the power, and you don't need to focus as much on how much performance you can get out of that system. But we still need to focus on the compatibility of everything to be cohesive together, as well as the brand requirements. That is something that is not going to change, is going to be the brands. And what that's really going to mean is that instead of getting 96 gigs of RAM like I got in my first system, I'm going to go with a lower 32 gigs of RAM. But as you'll see, we're going to stick with something that's actually going to be the same brand and same type, which I'm talking about the Corsair Dominator RAM or the G.Skill Trident Z RAM. Still going to be sticking with that ilk of RAM. So we're not going to change a lot of quality because that is something that we still want to have. Even if it's a budget build, you still needed to have a good layer of quality. I think that's satisfactory. So you said you almost fried your CPU. Has it been fried or has it not been fried? I want to change this. I don't like the way that looks. I feel like I'm kind of... be a little bit closer. There we go. It's a little bit better. Let's see, so we're starting with motherboard at about 37 minutes. Not fried. I messed up my thermal paste and I thought it was done. Then I realized I just didn't hook up my power cable. That's quite a few things. Did you buy a cooler that did not come with pre-applied thermal paste? And missing the power cable with any one of them, be it something in the back of the power supply or connecting from the power supply to the board, that's an extremely common thing. Sometimes you just miss plugging in the graphics card. That happens as well. All right, so we got here, let's see here. And I still want to separate these, I feel, from board and all the different components, because it was really nice to make one long video, but then have each individual component as its own video. So I'll probably do that, where I'll take the longness out of these and make a shorter one. They might not look as good though, because it's not going to have necessarily the same intro. We'll see. I can always modify that part in post if I need to make it a little bit more polished. But some general advice about custom builds and about budget PC builds, I guess in general, is really there. One of the biggest pieces of advice that we give is that if you want to build a PC, definitely go for it. But saving money now can really burn you in the long run. It doesn't make any sense to cheap out and buy a $50 power supply when that has the chance to fry every component in your computer. So the $50 you save now can cost you hundreds in the future, especially if you have to see a repair professional to pay them to fix it. I was building it mostly blind since I wasn't patient enough to hear all the yapping. That happens too. People think they can build a PC quickly. I mean, you can maybe build it quickly, but the faster you go, the more likely of having a problem. And I see it, and I get paid for it a lot. But when I built my first PC, I was obsessed with it. I wanted to learn everything because my friend, Protein Rivieri, got me into PC building. Do you want me to call you Alt or Protein? I don't know. Let me know. Probably Protein because that's more on brand, I'd say. But I had to buy each component piece by piece. I couldn't afford everything at once. So it was kind of a budget build back then, but this was 20 years ago. I hate saying that metric that it was 20 years ago. But I got the motherboard and I read through every single page and just reading all of it obsessively to just like learn everything I could about PCs because I was passionate about it. And I was able to turn that passion into a pretty good, career there. It took about 6 hours. Yeah, me building, a professional builder. My entire raw footage of building a PC was 4 hours. Now, this was also documenting and going through a lot. And when I go through and I build a standard PC, it might take me maybe 90 minutes or so. But that's just kind of with no distractions, knowing exactly what goes where and all that stuff. So 6 hours is about right there. So Protein. I need a button where I can just press your button and you're the one that says the name. Protein Reverie. I'm not going to say your name anymore. Just let me know if that was correct. And then I'll forget it. Okay, What did I say? Okay, hold on. Hold on. I'm going to make a note. What time are we at? 41 minutes. Said the name correctly. Protean Reverie. Oh, wait. Oh no, not Morbius. Is that supposed to be a hint? Because the problem is that your name is now Big G, right? Who is Big G? What is your name? Who are you? I have 2 guesses as to who you could be. But your name is just Big G. I don't know you as Big G. All right, so 37 minutes is not the motherboard. Maybe that's the motherboard. Based. You are based? For real? I thought you were the. After you said Morbius. Big PowerPoint, man. So now you're just Big G. Who knows what that could mean? Okay. All right. How do I have too many? I have so many windows open. I keep clicking the wrong daggone thing. Based. How you been, man? You haven't been streaming in a long time. Where you been? Big gangsta. Ironically, though. As always. Let's see. So we got internal components. I don't necessarily really like the way that they're doing this whole thing. It's an odd thing. But I'm going to link this to my Amazon store. That's what I'm going to do. That was the other thing I wanted to do. Because I'm an Amazon associate, yo. That means I'm a really big deal. And where's that at? Where's that at? Where's that at? Amazon. All right, then I need to go to the live description here and edit that. Boom. That's right, that's right. You've been in school, just graduated, you're finally looking for work. Oh, nice job, nice job. What'd you graduate with? I forget what you were in school for. Wasn't that like something really smart, like biochemistry or something like that? Something that we would be like, whoa, wow, Base is doing that? All right, and then on Amazon, I will also need to create a, how do I create a list? I created a list. Because I have my own storefront, right? Amazon.com/shop/thedontech. Okay, so I can, okay, I'm going to create a new. Create curation. Okay. Mechanical engineering, just as smart right there. What sort of job would a mechanical engineer get? Wait, create a, okay, it's a post, not a curation. It's a post, right? No. Problem is I did this previously. wasn't really a post there. Let's manage, published. Okay, what is it? It's an idea list. Okay, create idea list. Okay, there we go. All right, so I got that idea list. So as I shop for these parts, I'm going to put a curated list in a link in the description so you guys can see the exact parts. We don't even necessarily need PC Parts Picker at that point. I'll just drop the exact list of the exact parts. That's pretty nice. So right now you're looking for an HVAC or plumbing engineer, and I wouldn't be against something else like machine design. Very nice. HVAC and plumbing should be very in demand, I would imagine. All right, I think I'm almost ready to start doing what I planned on doing. And again, if you weren't here for this earlier based, feel free to keep on talking as much as you want. I can take breaks and reply to any comment. It's not going to interrupt my flow or what I'm doing. I'm here to be here and chat with you guys. I'm just doing the 2 birds, 1 stone by making 14 videos at the same time. Because why not? Make a stream actually worthwhile to watch, you know what I mean? Plus, I love doing this stuff on the fly because I don't watch anybody else on YouTube really at all anymore. But I feel like there's a nice, I don't know, feel about being able to watch somebody. Oh, I don't like my hands. Ugh, I don't like that. The Dantec is over my hand. I want it to be behind my hand. Anyway, I feel like people can look up things and they can do research and they can edit a video and make it look as pretty as they want. But for somebody to be able to, on the fly, shop for something live in front of people, that's a skill that I don't think a lot of people necessarily have. Like, I was fixing my father-in-law's PC. And he may not necessarily know this, but I was fixing his PC and he was watching me do it the whole time. Most of the times, people would be nervous about having somebody watch them work that intimately. But it was great. It was fine. It was like, let me show you how I can do what I can do, you know? So that was a fun experience. So I want to keep on doing that here to show you guys. I think I'm going to get rid of the Dantec. I don't like that. I don't like that there. Let's put it over here. That'll be better because my hand won't really go over there. Okay. They can still be there. I'm looking for a graphic designer if anybody wants to make me something pretty. Okay. All right, so now what graphics do I need? This. A logo. A banner for YouTube. A thing, you know? I don't know. General graphics arts package of things that I can throw places that are the Dantec branding. You build your PC for about 1,100 USD, 1,500 Canadian. It runs most modern games well over 144 Hz at 1080. Is this good or did I mess it up? That's not bad. Because you come down to, really, what are you buying a PC for? If you have to get as many frames as possible, it's going to be quite the tall order. I have people that come in with 4090s and 5090s that can't run things. And if you've seen the news about Borderlands, it runs terribly even with a 5090 and this really top-of-the-line hardware. Modern games are terribly optimized, so your performance will definitely vary. And when I'm building a PC, my biggest thing is longevity and to make sure it's going to last. So it can do it now, which is great. And 144 Hz at 1080, that's a perfectly fine metric right there. I do 2K, I think, 1440p at 100 Hz, and I notice zero problems with that with my build that I recently did, but I'm not chasing the highest frames ever imaginable. Because back in my day, all we had to worry about was 1080 60. That was it. We could still get more frames than 60, but it wouldn't refresh the screen any higher than that anyway. And then high refresh rate gaming came out, and it has usurped a lot of the needs of what the PCs can do. So it sounds like you built something that's fine, 1,100 bucks, but it just comes down to the quality of the parts you got and how long it will last. Because I deal with a lot of people that have built PCs and they just don't last for 3 years, 3-4 years. And that's not acceptable to me. I want them to last longer, which is what this budget PC build is also going to show. How do you feel about 2010 word art? As long as it looks good. Borderlands also has the painfully unfunny... Excuse me, are you calling us millennials painfully unfunny? Excuse me. I'm sure I would probably find it quite charming. Okay, so we're going to do, what are we at right now? 40, 51. After I said Alt's name correctly, we're talking about the motherboard. So when it comes to budget shopping, brand also matters a lot. We can go in here and we can sort by motherboard and we can find the cheapest one imaginable, but it's not going to really fit our needs with what we want to do. So as always, every single board that I will ever build with, period, has been ASUS. And I guess we can just search on here for what, the motherboards. We're going to find an ASUS motherboard that's going to fit the Intel chipset, because I know that the Intel chipset is going to be budget friendly with some of their i5 and Core 5 processors. The prices may also come down quite substantially, and they just have that reliability on their side. So that's really why we're going to be sticking with that for these two components. I sentenced to 20 minutes of sarcasm, poisoned video game characters trying to be relatable, or 25 years of solitary confinement. They are relatable. What are you talking about? Oh, also, is this budget build going to be under 1,000 or over 1,000? I think we're going to be right around that $1,000 mark. And I can add this into like every part of the video, I guess. But when it comes to building a budget PC, that's a misnomer. You can build the budget PC. Let's say you have $500, $800 to build a PC. And your friend tells you, go build this PC. It's only going to cost you $800. Great. You can do it. A lot of people that are in the budgetary need like that, it's their first PC. And so my question for when you're building your first PC, you save as much money as possible because you only have $800 to spend on it. What about every other accessory? You have your mouse, keyboard, monitor, desk, chair, listening device, speakers, maybe a webcam. None of that is free. And even if that's like $50 per device, you're still adding about $300. So it doesn't make any sense how you can actively budget that just for a PC, because you still have all the other things to buy. So my general advice is save up a little bit more money when you can, get something that's decent that will last. It'll go a lot longer of a way. Let's see, I think, can I go over here? All right. So we're gonna, can I sort by motherboard? No, so they just want you to go with the Amazon bestsellers. Bestsellers and reviews on that sort of stuff. Reviews have lost a lot of their charm throughout the years with these things. So it's one of those things that you can't really trust it anymore. I mean, people don't know how to build these things really at all. So we're going to be going with, let's see, an Asus board, but I want to get something that's going to be on the Intel variant, but also cheap, inexpensive more so. And I know that I've done a couple of builds with the Tough Gaming Asus one, and that has been a fantastic board, but that might be a little bit more expensive than what we're going for today. It'd be, no, let's do, not the Z790. It was the Z, or was it that one? No, that's that'll be a contender. That will be a contender because we might go with the 14th gen, or we might go with the Core 7 Ultra, Core 5 Ultra. I'm not quite sure yet. It'll kind of depend on the processor. So maybe we'll get two of those. And let's see what this will show here. Because that's still $191. That's a little on the expensive side, I would say. But we'll add them to the cart. What do you mean you can't find the page to add something to the cart? I think I might know why that is the case. Okay, I think I might know why that's the case. Let me go to this real quick and try to validate something here. I might need to completely reopen Amazon here. Or Brave, I guess. I might have broken the Brave browser. That might be what it is. I love how this is going so well live, but I like it though. Wow, his Amazon card's not working. All right, let me try. Firefox. Okay, Firefox worked. I might need to switch then to Firefox. Because I might have broken something within Edge. Or no, not Edge, Brave. Okay, and then can I get that link that I had? Okay. Well, I guess Brave, if you don't want to be brave enough for me and work for me. Let me make sure that I've got one additional thing. All right, I think I've almost got it here. Let me go back to the motherboard. And then we should be able to add it to the cart, and it would be A-okay. But I just want to verify that I'm going to have an add-on that I would like to have added on in the private mode. Maybe it's already there. I can't quite tell. I just want to make sure that I've got the good old-fashioned ad blocker there. There we go. Okay. Oh no, I got rid of the wrong tab. All right, so whew. And then, all right, so I got to go to computer browse, but we're going to go ahead and add there we go. But this one, okay, that should be fine. That should be just fine. All right, so now we're back on the motherboard. What motherboard did we find? It was going to be the Tough Gaming. For Intel. So we're going to click on the Z790. Because I don't know if I'm going to be going for that one or not, but I wanted to see the Strix, if they had any of the Strix available, but then also the Core Ultras. Oh, geez, this price went up like crazy. $265? Because that used to be about, that was like 195, I think, a little bit ago. So that's kind of being that's difficult to be a budget build if we're going to the, already that cost. Let's go to the Asus store real quick and just kind of see for the board what we can kind of get from there. Because again, I don't want to sort by the lowest cost boards. And the Z boards are going to be a little bit better than those B boards are going to be. But let's just kind of see if they've got anything. Because you see the robust power solutions that these say that they have, the the 10 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. It's not quite going to be there. But if we can get something that's a little bit cheaper, like this Prime board might be fine for 180. Because we also want to go for a full ATX board. We don't want to get a micro or anything like that. And then just for comparative sake, I want to see what... Let's go back over here. I want to see what the other boards are going to be like, the previous series, the 14th gen. And see how much money we would save. Because this is that tough gaming one. It's got Wi-Fi, but it really is going to depend on the processor itself in relation to which one we end up going for here. But generally speaking, I would not build with a board as inexpensive as this one, just for various different reasons. But we're going for a budget build in and of itself. And so the budget does have to fit the criteria of fulfilling my brand needs. And motherboard is a structural piece of your computer that you can't just go on the wayside and be like, oh, I want to get a $70 board. It's not going to last. It's just not. I mean, you might get lucky with one, but why take the chances, We're not trying to build it as cheaply as possible. We're trying to build a sensible budget PC that will actually last you a decent period of time and be something that's, going to serve you well for everything you'd want to do. Sticking with Wi-Fi is also nice as well because you don't know if you're going to be able to be wired. I'd recommend being wired if you can, but obviously that's not always the case. This one's got plenty of USB in the back, USB-C, but you're not going to get a lot of the fancy features at all with this system, but that's okay because we're going for that budget tangible build. So this one here, we're going to go and sit with that for now and add that one to the cart, and then we're going to go with the Core series processors. We're going to see what's available on the processor side of things here after I go through the boards. Only one in stock. You better get it. Because I know that the Core 7 Ultra was going down in price quite a bit, and they got some deals here, but the bundles, it's hard to say, yes, get this bundle, because the bundle may not exist when you're shopping for it. It's kind of a at the time period, but I think that'd be that's $600, $560 right there, just for those two things, Wait, how is it a socket 1700, but it's got the Core 7 Ultra? That's not the right socket. Yeah, so let's search the... I mean, that's a great price for that processor right there. There was that i5 with the previous gen. That was coming free with Battlefield. I don't know if that was this processor or not. Or if it was if it was the 13th gen. Or if that deal is even going on anymore. But like I said, it looks like the cheapest price here is going to mainly be this Core 5 Ultra. You can get the Core i5 12th gen, but that's 3 gens old. We're not going for something like that. So we're going to stick with just this one as well. So we'll kind of see where we're at with those two things afterwards. So we've got the board picked at being that Asus, let's go back to the card here. I think this would be a fine board to get for the budgetary sense of things. I have used a few of these, but just because they're so new, it's one of those things I don't have experience to know how long they will generally last. Shouldn't have any problems with them lasting a long time, but you don't want to find out the hard way. But if you protect it electrically, it should be a lot better for you. But this will be the board that we're going to sit with. Let me see if I can find a runner-up for second place for the board itself and see how much difference that Tough Gaming was. So that's 180 for the Tough Gaming. And then this is just going to be the Micro. Yeah, we don't need to worry about that one. So we've got a, well, this is a Lightning deal. What's the retail? Is it regularly 220? Because this one says it's regularly 201. But you got a $5 difference between these two boards. And comparatively speaking, the Tough series is going to have more for you. It does have higher power phases, and it probably has more features, more stuff with RAM, more robust heat sinks throughout. So given all of that, we're gonna scratch that one. We're gonna go for this board itself. The additional $5 will be worth it in the long run. Because again, we're not trying to buy as cheap as possible. We're not trying to build as cheap as possible. We're trying to build something that's sensible and can make sense. And so with that, we're going to pair it with this $179 processor from Intel. So the two components that we have so far in the cart come up to $364. That's just how it is. That's foundational. But that's not too bad. So we're sticking with that Core Ultra 5. It's got the 10 cores. I mean, you can find something that might be on the AMD side equivalent that is better performing and faster, but we're sticking with the Intel side here because that's something that I've got that reliability with. Because even though we're doing a budget build, it's a budget build the Dontech style. All right, now I forgot my list of order. Because we got those two done. I don't need to necessarily make a processor video because it kind of all sits with it. This might just be one longer video. I'll have to see afterwards. But we had the CPU, and then we got the PC case. Ooh, okay, so the PC case. Where are we at for the time here? So we're at a minute, or an hour and 10 just about. Now, some of the fun part is going to be the PC case itself. And let's get rid of some of these tabs because we won't need them. We're going to go for, where's the case? Can I not read? What would they call a case? I don't know. All right, we're going to search up a couple of different cases here. We're going to search up a Corsair case. We're going to search up a Asus case. We're going to source up a Leon Lee case. Granted, Leon Lee is not going to be necessarily on the budget side. They're probably going to be too expensive. And then a Fantex case. These are going to be the four manufacturers we're going to be looking up today for these cases. I've built with them. I know their quality. I know their reliability. I know the way that they promote the heat and everything like that and the airflow. So we're going to kind of see what we can get there for it. I have built many times with that Corsair 4000D case. It's a pretty good case. It comes with the fans that you need, and it can definitely move all the air and be roomy enough for a first-time builder. And I think you can get one with or without tempered glass. So Corsair case, definitely on the market. Asus case, it's going to be a matter of some other budgetary-centric things. I think the case, we can get away with something that is less than $100 or $100 or less. For the budget needs, as long as it has the fans and the cooling, and proper architecture, it will do everything that we need it to do. And I don't want to do the whole sort by low, but that might need to be what we do on the case side of things. And then same with Leon Lee. They're known for having really good quality and structure, but they might not have anything that fits the budgetary need. You know, this one right here is $82. But I don't think that's necessarily going to be what we'd want to go for, because we also don't want to experiment with something that's really weird. We want to actually get something that's, you know, going to serve us well. And here is where we can actually save some of the most money in the case, because you can't save a lot of money in some of the other components. I've not built with this case yet, but it does come with the 3 fans, but they might want you to put an all-in-one cooler in it. But it comes with those 3 fans you could put at the top of the case, but I'd prefer it, if we're going to be going on more of a budget build, I'd prefer to have fans in the front and in the top and in the rear versus on the side panel there. That can bring in more air, but that's more of a luxury than what should be your main way to get some of that cool air. Oh, and this is a micro ATX only, so we don't want to worry about that. And then Fantex. We could go with the Fantex NV5, I think it was. Let's do... No, it's too... Well, that's not the Fantex 5. They might have gotten rid of that NV5. They still have the 7. Where's the Fantex NV7? They still have the NV9? Why do you make such a beautiful case and then get rid of it? That doesn't make any sense. Huh, okay, well. Then this one is probably going to be a pretty bare bones, easy enough situation where we're just going to find this Corsair 4000D case. I just want to verify that it has everything that we would need, and if this comes with fans. Because if it comes with fans, then it will actually save you some money in... Shush. It'll save you some money in the long run. Because you don't want to have to buy fans at 20 bucks a piece or anything like that. So I just want to see... This one looks like it comes with 2 fans in the front. So 2 120s. But then you got to think, okay, we have 2 120s, and we want to buy some additional fans maybe, because this comes with normally 2. You got to budget that in as well. You're going to be needing to get fans with it, and fans are maybe 10 to 20 bucks for the cheap fans per fan. So if you need to add 5 fans, that's $50 to $100 just in fans. So you might want to get a case that comes with that. So we'll do a little bit more investigation on the Corsair case side. And hello, Metro Gaming. How you doing today, my friend? Welcome to the budget build extravaganza. And also, if RGB is your game, that's a whole different thing as well. If you want to have really fancy colors, good on you, but those fans can be expensive. But this one might win out because it looks like it might come with 3 fans. If it comes with 3 fans, but it only shows 2 fans on the thing, but it might come with 3 120s. Windows 10 end of life. What questions you got, my friend? It is ending, but it is not scary. So the 2 differences between these cases: more fan space, additional radiator, which we're not going for that. So this one comes with 3 RS120 ARGB fans. And this one's available. So this will be the case that we're going to stick with. Has the 3 fans in the front. You can buy more fans on the top and in the rear if you want. And if you want to do $10 per fan, that'd be about another $40 per fan. If you want to do more per fan, you can, but you wouldn't need to get more per fan because just having those 3 fans in the front plus the cooler that we're going to stick with, that will give you plenty of cooling because this thing will not produce a ton of heating in general. So it's not going to be something that you have to worry about keeping cool above and beyond what you would normally have to keep cool. October 14th, 2025, but technically we have support until October 14th, 2026, because it's completely free for the extended security updates for everybody. All you have to do is have a Microsoft account. If you have one, you can sign up for free if you back up your data. If you don't want to give Microsoft your data, I have a video coming out tomorrow that exactly details what you need to do so you can get the update, but not give Microsoft any of your data. All right, so we are at an hour 17. And going on to the next component, which is going to be RAM. Ooh, the fun one. I said previously that if you have anybody that has less than 32 gigs of RAM is committing a crime, and that's still true to this day. Recently, Steam came out and said, oh, 32 gigs might be the new bare minimum and new standard for what people have with gaming systems. I've had 32 gigs of RAM since 2015. Like, you got to get with the times, you know? So RAM is not a place to skimp on quality or size capacity. But since this is a budget build, we're going to be focusing on getting still good quality RAM, which is going to be G.Skill Trident Z or Corsair Dominator/Vengeance series. The Dominator will be more premium than what we need, so we won't worry about that. So we're going to compare mainly between the G.Skill Trident Z and the Corsair Vengeance non-LPX series. So we're just going to find some stuff. We're going to be going for DDR5 because we know that's what our board will support. And the cache latencies in that, we're going to try to make them as small as possible with getting as much speed as possible, or as much bandwidth as possible, while also trying to get at least 32 gigs of RAM. We're not going to go any lower. A budget build itself could just work fine with 16 gigs, but do not get 16 gigs. 32 gigs is the minimum, and that's what we're going to put in this system. Windows 10 will no longer. Nope, it'll work. It'll be fine. So memory capacity, let's just see 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM and kind of see the cheapest kit and what we're kind of dealing with here. Now it is, what is it? It's easier to get faster timings and higher bandwidth on lower size, lower capacity RAM DIMMs. So keep that in mind, that you might see some speeds on here that are like, whoa, that's pretty nice, but that's because it's easier to achieve that. So right off the bat, I'm seeing this here at 120 bucks for 32 gigs of RAM being pretty decent there. This is $105, but you can see that the timings have gone up quite a bit. But let's go ahead and do the whole thing where we sort by lowest. I don't like doing that. That's a cop-out, but we're just going to get our baseline for the G.Skill RAM here. So I added, 119 and 105. And then just looking here, the cache latency on these, you got 36, 36, and then 36, and then you go down to 30, 38, 38, 96. So it's not going to be that much of a difference there. What's the bandwidth, though? And this is also that AMD Expo, whatever that would be. And then the Neo series, which we won't necessarily need to focus on. So the lower the voltage, 1.35 is what you want to be at, because that'll run cooler. 6,000, 6,000. So these are all practically the exact same. So we're going to be looking at about 105 bucks for RAM. So 36, 36, 96. I mean, I don't necessarily see, this is AMD Expo and Intel XMP 3.0. I don't see what the difference is in either of these. They're both UDIM. I mean, they look exactly the same on paper. So we're just going to go for the top result. And this is what we're going to be starting with right here, is this $105 metric for that. We're going to go to this tab. We're going to do Corsair Vengeance DDR5 RAM and see what we can get. And we're going to sort by lowest price. An enhancement kit. Yeah, okay. Enhancement kit. Yeah, okay, so that's a little... I didn't know they sold that. This is all an enhancement kit. What in the world? I need actual, like, RAM. So 16 gigs. So we're going to be looking at roughly the same cost here, probably. This is the LPX, though, isn't it? The LPX style. You don't necessarily need the RGB and need the light bar, but if it's the LPX, I would recommend against the LPX. And this so not only does this have much higher timings, but also has lower bandwidth. So you're saving some money, about 25 bucks or 15 bucks. But you're getting performance that's not going to be as good, and this RAM also is not as good as the G-Skill stuff that we found. So comparatively, this right here, the $105 RAM, and then we're just going to go to the next page and we can get more RAM. You should ask Rufus, Big G. Because with the timings here, it's not going to make a difference, so you're not going to really notice anything. But this would probably be most comparable. Right here. So that's going to be 2. We don't need that. You find Rufus a fitting name because that AI is about as smart as people who get that nickname. When I think of Rufus, I think of the little naked mole rat from Kim Possible. Is that right? That's what I think of. Okay, so these two RAM sticks, there's a $5 difference between the Corsair Vengeance RAM. It's got the lights. The Trident Z has the lights. You're running at slightly tighter timings on the G-Skill Trident Z, higher timings on the Corsair Vengeance stuff. You can't go wrong with either one of these picks. Except this one is being sold by Wasno Electronics, whereas this one is sold by Racer Speed. I have purchased from Racer Speed before, so that's definitely something that is not that's not a negative there. So I would say that that is actually going to be the one we're going to go for. $5 difference, though. We're going to get it from G-Skill itself, 32 gigs of RAM. Just to see here, I want to see how much more 64 gig kit is. Roughly it'd be about probably double, right? But if you find this kit right here, about similar timings, if you wanted to, as an alternative, to get a higher capacity of RAM, 64 gigs, for just $75 more, you can get double the RAM. That's not a bad deal, but you definitely want to make sure you stick with this Trident Z nonetheless. But we're going to stick with that $105 set, because we're trying to stick within the budget here. Right now, as you can see, our entire price, $573.97. We still have a lot to do. Oh, gosh. But again, this is the Dontech budget. I would not build a PC for any less than this. I would not buy anything any cheaper. So if this is something that is up your alley, great. If not, I don't know, go buy something else that's going to wreck in a while. Think of a kid who's got a few screws loose who would fight wild animals. Yeah, isn't that Ron from Kim Possible? All right, so RAM is done, and then we want to pick a drive. How much time are we at right now? Hour 26. Where's the, there it is. All right. So then when it comes to picking a storage device, we're going on a budget, but we cannot skimp on the brand. Samsung is the only drive I would ever use and ever recommend inside of a computer. Be it the NVMe or the SATA-based drive, you really can't go wrong. Since we're going for a budget build, it won't really matter if we're going for a SATA-based SSD instead of the NVMe SSD, so it's just going to come down to price on both of them. I know that with the NVMe's, you cannot buy anything less than 1 terabyte anymore, so that's going to be our main entry for that one. We're starting with the 1 terabyte Samsung NVMe. $70. The value of that is absolutely insane and awesome. And that's the Evo Plus. The Evo, I think, is probably more expensive, even though it doesn't make any sense because that's a lesser one. The Evo Plus is faster. So you want to stick with the Evo Plus. 1 terabyte NVMe, $70. It doesn't get any better than that. They have extremely good reliability. They pretty much just don't fail. I mean, you're extremely unlucky if you've had one fail. It is so uncommon for these drives to fail. I mean, you can't buy anything any cheaper than that. $70 for a 1 terabyte. Let's just say you had to load every single game on your drive and you just want to buy a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda. $65. $5 savings for not only are you getting everything worse in general because you're getting a mechanical drive, you're getting worse quality in every single way. No brainer right there. But just to compare, we're going to also search the Samsung 870 Evos. A 1 terabyte Evo, SATA-based, I don't know how you say it, is going to be $90. If you had to save money, you could save $15 here and get a 500 gig SATA-based SSD, but I wouldn't recommend it. Save the extra money up, get the $15 more, buy the better drive, but that $70, that's absurd. That's so good. And if you had the extra cash and you want to go for a 2 terabyte, but even still, I think this one's 2 terabyte is even cheaper. $130 for a 2 terabyte. That's great. So I would definitely recommend the 1 terabyte Samsung NVMe SSD. That was an easy part of that video. Because when it comes to budget shopping, again, you're not going for as cheap as possible. You want it to be something that can actually serve you well and last. If you want to build a new PC and you only want it to last for 2 years, fine. Buy the cheapest ones. Buy some Silicon Power SSD or something like that. Have at it, you know? But it's not going to serve you well. Well, that was quick. I like it. I don't have to do as much explaining for this one because I've already done it in a previous video. Where are we at? So we're at 1 hour 29. And then we're going to go to... We have three more components to go through. The cooler, the GPU, and the PSU. Those are going to be the fun ones. But the cooler, though, that's where you're going to have a couple of different choices. As long as you get a decent air cooler, you'll be okay with an air cooler. You really will. It won't be a problem. I know our metric for what we're going to stick with on Corsair coolers. So wait, I need to say it correctly. The Corsair Nautilus 360 RS, the one that I previously had purchased. We don't need the ARGB. Can we get it with no RGB? Excuse me. This is our baseline. This is it will not go more expensive than $90. If you want to have a all-in-one cooler, you definitely can. But again, we're going budget build here, so we want it to be as cheap as possible. This cooler is a little overkill for the Core 5 Ultra that we do have, but the benefits of an all-in-one cooler over a liquid cooler is it comes with the 3 fans. And from our case that we have over here, this Corsair 4000D, we could put those 3 fans in the top mounted position, and then you have more surface area for everything to be cooled inside the unit. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a fantastic use case scenario. And then you just buy one more fan in the rear. It would have great airflow. You could not go wrong with buying this. But what we're going to see is if we can find any 6 heat pipe, air coolers and see how much money we might be able to save off of this right here. And so some of these that I've used, like right here, right off the bat, I mean, you got this Thermalright Peerless Assassin 120 millimeter, which comes with 2 fans, and it's got the 6 heat pipes. Kind of exactly what you're going for. And that's a significant savings. That's $50 less. So in this situation, you kind of have the choice. I'll see what else is out there as well. Thermalright though, I've started to use them. I don't have enough experience with the longevity of their all-in-one cooler, so I wouldn't recommend it. But their actual, like, air coolers, there's not much to go wrong with them. You have the copper heat pipes. You've got the good connectivity and everything to the actual base of the processor. There's nothing that can go wrong with it, really, as long as they're made with the quality parts, and so far it seems like they have been. But the Cooler Master 212 is not bad. I've used that a couple of times too. You can save some money. This only has 4 copper heat pipes though. It doesn't make it bad, but that's something that, you know, if you're going for something and you can spend $10 extra to get 2 additional heat pipes, that's a steal right there. But like here, this one's 4 heat pipes for 17 bucks. You get to the point where it's a little too cheap, you know? 7 heat pipes. How's that work out? I'm curious. Dang. They did. Those crazy guys, they did it. They did a silver, or not a silver, they did a 7 heat pipe one. Normally it's like 4, 6, or 8. Not really seen 7. But this is the 6, and this does this one also come with 2 fans? Well, why don't you just get that one? For $1 more, you can get an additional heat pipe. That's not bad. And then you can pick between if you want black or silver. The biggest issue you're going to have with some of these all-in-one coolers will maybe be RAM clearance because of the fans and the fins and how far they go. Like if you look at this, this is universal. So this is showing the 1 fan over the RAM right here. You can't do that because that, you know, you'd have to have really, really low profile RAM. Most RAM, especially if it has colors, it's not going to clear that fan. So you would put the fan, instead of on this side, on the other side, and then you probably wouldn't have any issues with any clearance. Because it doesn't look like this itself, down here, it doesn't look like this copper, this does go over one of the RAMs, but you can see that it's like got an etch out here. So that shouldn't interfere with any of the RAM. But for this build, we're only buying 2 RAM sticks. So here, you would actually just use these gray slots. So if you're using the gray slots, you wouldn't have to worry about that. And you wouldn't have to worry about clearance on that one. So that's a pretty daggone good deal. I'd recommend something like that. 7 heat pipes, 35 bucks. You know, if you can reuse older coolers for this platform, the one that we're specifically building right now is going to be on the 1851 socket. And you cannot do that because Intel and everybody in their infinite wisdom decide to make it so that these new sockets have different layouts and everything. So only if your cooler had the support for it. I want to feel where that's at. So this right here, for example, the cooling slot support is the LGA 1851, 1700, 1150, 1151, yada, yada. So they have all that different support for it. So if you have an older cooler, it might not have support for the 1851 for the backing there. But I'm a little curious there though, because I think 1700 and 1851 could work together. But I know if you have something like the 1150 or something like that, or the 1200, those will not be compatible. What cooler do you have? It's nice to see you again there, my friend. But I think that's a winner, though, right there. 7 heat pipes. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. You just have the choice of if you want to spend the additional money to get the cooler that comes with the fans, that's not too bad. All right, all right. So you have the DH15, you bought it in 2020. If that has 1700 socket support, it should have socket support. Yeah, so NH, I read that as DHNH. If that is the Noctua one, it should have that support for it. Are you currently using it on the 1700 socket? Let me do a quick little search here. So I think the socket types could be, they might be universal. The pins have increased, but the socket itself should be just fine. Using on AM4. Okay, well, you have to have your old mounting hardware for it. So if you don't have any of the Intel mounting hardware for that, you definitely can't. But you can always contact Noctua. Maybe they'd have something for sale. All right, where's my window here? Here we go. No thanks. But if it says it only supports the 1151, 55, and 56, then it will not support the newest stuff. Because it has to support at least 1700 in order to be able to support 1851. It's stupid. It's just millimeter shifts in these holes. It's infuriating. That's why something like this is nice, whereas that Corsair Nautilus only has support for the two 1851 and 1700. But we're not building anything prior, so that's okay. But $35 for that. Wow. That's nice. And did that get added to the cart? Okay, y'all. We're at $680 without a power supply and without a graphics card. Oh, gosh. I think I want to go a little bit out of order and get the power supply first and then the graphics card. Just to kind of see how much wiggle room we have. Because graphics card, you're going on a budget, you can kind of pick whatever you want to pick. Man, I love that cooler. Does this one have, this one just colors or is it more heat pipes? Still 4 copper heat pipes. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. All right, so then what we're going to go for is power supply. We're going to stick between an Asus power supply and a Corsair power supply. At which I need to mark this. We're at what? An hour 40. All right, when it comes to power supply, that is also a big make or break. You buy the wrong power supply and you get hit with an electrical event, it can completely subvert anything on the power supply and go right to the components, killing your components. So we don't want to skip on this either, but that just might mean we're not going to get as many watts as we would normally get. Still sticking with Asus or Corsair as the primary brands, we're going to do a compare and contrast on them. They must, for me, be fully modular because they make those components with more structure, more quality, and they also have to be at least gold rated. Anything less than that is going to give you problems. Doesn't matter the manufacturer. We're going to try to keep it kind of cheap if we can. But some of these things you just cannot hit with a budget build. So sticking with Asus first, they're a little bit more on the premium side, so they might already just be out of the budget in and of itself. So gold 850, I want to see what they offer here. 750 currently unavailable. 110 is kind of the intro here. They only have an 8-year warranty though. I really don't like to see anything less than 10 years for their warranties itself. You can buy a $60 bricking device. Oh, you can. The Switch 2 is a $700 bricking device. Yep, no, power supplies are something that, it's amazing. The amount of misinformation that's out there on the power supply. Good power supplies will soak up the hit. Bad power supplies goes right to your components. Every single time. I see it all the time. I was talking EVGA as well. EVGA gold-rated power supplies. Happens constantly. But what do I not see it on? Corsairs and Asus. Those power supplies may take a hit, they may die, but trust me, the power supply dying is way better than your motherboard dying, your processor dying, your graphics card dying, or all of them dying. Like I said, Asus is definitely more of a premium product though, so it's going to be difficult to get that in the actual budget build itself. But 110 is that, you know, is that thing there. And the RMs are also the better series for the Corsair. The HX is more premium. The CX is not as premium. So get an Asus immediately. Why not? And then SF, that's for small form factor. We don't need to worry about that. So there are going to be a couple of different features on the older power supplies that aren't necessarily in the newer power supplies. And that's going to be the certain ATX connectivity and everything. But the graphics cards come with adapters, so it's not really that big of a deal. And you don't want to get renewed. Do not buy renewed. Yep, see that right there? Renewed? Nope, no, nope, no, nope. Never get a renewed. Must be brand spanking new. No based. You may be poor. Save some money. Wait a month. Save 30 extra bucks for a power supply that's actually good. What power supply did you get? You want dead components? Get renewed. Yeah, that'd be terrible. Let's see. Do they have the 650 watt? Which is really going to be dependent on the graphics card itself that you get, if you can even feasibly get a 650 watt. But 650 is even more expensive than the 750. 850 might be a little bit more, because this is kind of dependent on what you need to get based on your things. It's not modulated. I mean, non-modular is not terrible, but that's usually saved for the lesser ones, like the CX series from Corsair, which right here, where's the CX? You know, 650 watt, non-modular, 70 bucks. But the problem with that, the CX series, I don't think they come with as long of a warranty. I know the other ones have a 10-year warranty on them. I haven't used a CX power supply in a really long time, because I just flat out don't recommend them. But this one should have a 10-year warranty. That's something that you should be promoting like crazy, like 10-year warranty, but I don't see any. Nothing? You're not going to say the warranty? Bruh. Let's just search, not bookmark. Now, why does Corsair want to make me look like a fool and change it so they're now doing backed by a 7-year warranty? Maybe that's just these RMs, because they used to be 10 years. The fact that they don't want to do 7 years is kind of, so that makes this Asus one a little bit better, because it's 8-year warranty. And then you know what, fine. We'll search a Seasonic power supply. But that's, again, a little bit more on the premium side as well. See, if I'm not, this is the one I'd get probably right now. If I had to buy a brand new power supply, this Asus 1000 watt platinum 10-year warranty, that'd be peak right there. But for our budget build, sadly, we'll be going with this $100 750 watt power supply. I could consider nothing less than that to protect the components. Maybe the white variant, if that is cheaper. Nope, 20 bucks more for the white variant. So, all right, okay. It's not terrible. Not terrible. You lost the box. Will tear open your system based. Okay. As it stands right now, $780 for all but one component for the Dontex budget build. Honestly, this is not a bad system overall when you look at it. It's got a good foundation of a board, great processor, the good case that'll get us where we need to be, 32 gigs of RAM, which is the minimum, beautiful 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, amazingly powerful 7 copper heat pipe cooler, and then the Corsair power supply. We are not sacrificing anything here. A little bit of the performance, but nothing on the quality, which is what we wanted. And so that we are at an hour 47. I'm gonna make delete edit this. Sweetie, can you edit this? I'll have the timestamps for you. So. All right, before we do GPU, I'm going to be back in just a moment. But then, Austin, do you know if Arrow Lake cares about memory timings? Most everything would care about memory timings, but expand on that a little bit. What do you mean? But BRB for about 3 minutes or so. All right, there we go. I forgot the which one to hit. All right, Austin, when you're here, let me know, and then I can answer your question. All right, let me modify my timestamp here because we are at 2 hours for the GPU. So this will be the fun part. Our final piece is going to be the actual graphics card itself on this budget build. So we're going to go with NVIDIA GPU. We're going to kind of see what's there. My brand of choice is still going to be Asus, but when we're going for budgetary needs, it also does depend on what is available. I don't recommend buying used at all if you can afford it, but your graphics card is going to be mainly dependent on how well you want to perform. But keep in mind that because of the RAM amount that we have and the processor amount that we have, high refresh rate gaming at a really high degree is going to pretty much be out of the equation. You might be able to push it to, maybe 120 hertz, depending on how you tweak the settings, but you're going to start to run into some bottlenecks. But again, this is a budget build. This is not a high performance build. So we should be okay with that. Right off the bat, seeing a 3060 12 gigs at 280 bucks, pretty good. I'd prefer it to be Asus though. We're going to keep that in a tab. 3050 will be too low. 5060 Ti might be too much because that's going to boost us. That's going to be the most expensive component by a long shot, but usually the graphics card will be the most expensive component. Well, let's see. All right. We're going to do the whole thing where we sort by lowest. But let's try to get like actual graphics card here. Yeah. Clearly, it gets us some really good stuff here, Let's see. We want to avoid. Can I do a thing that's like new only so I don't have to worry about looking if they're renewed or not? No? Cool. Okay, fine. We're going to avoid renewed, like said. But this is where the rest of your budget can really shine, depending on how much money you have left. Because there's no real wrong answer here when it comes to the graphics card. You can go on the Radeon variant if you want to, but I'm going for longevity. That's the biggest thing. So I can trust what I can trust and what I've used and what I have not had to replace consistently. But already right off the bat, we're getting to pretty expensive things here. This MSI one for $280 might be the best bet for what you're going for. 12 gigs of RAM, it's a 3060. It's pretty decent on the slot size. It's not going to create too much heat. Might have everything we need. And even the closest equivalent on the Asus side that's not renewed. I'm just skipping past them if they say renewed. I mean, we're getting like, we're already past 300 bucks. Oh. Wait, that's not renewed, is it? A 5060. But are you telling me that a 5060 has 4 gigs less RAM? They have one here that's a little bit... Nope, 5060, 8 gigs of RAM. I don't like it. I don't recommend it. But again, we're going for budget build. I mean, some of these, if you want to go with something renewed, get a 3060 Ti or get something earlier that was renewed, you can definitely do that. You're only going to have like a 30 or 90-day warranty on it, so that can definitely be a problem. I love how a 4060 renewed is more expensive than a 5060. And then the 3060 is more expensive than the 5060, but it's got more RAM. But 3070, but again, renewed. You're going to find a lot of that stuff that's going to just be on that renewed side there. Yeah, NVIDIA is so stingy with their VRAM, man. I mean, 8 gig cards. That kind of comes down to what is your card? What do you want it to have? That will determine how much money you have to spend on a graphics card. But I could tell you that either of these that I've picked, this Asus one or this MSI one right here, would be able to serve my needs perfectly fine with anything that I would personally be doing, most likely. But then, Austin, since you're back, just if lower timing kits can cause enough performance degradation to justify getting kits with better timings. So, still not fully sure exactly what you mean by that, but as long as you're not adjusting the voltage and you're just following the XMP settings, it's going to be working just fine with any Intel variant and everything like that. Arrow Lake isn't going to have any issues as far as I'm aware with those things. And you're not going to notice anything, like you're going to notice a thing where you won't necessarily see the timings, you lower it a little bit and heighten different things. It's not going to be this like night and day difference, but just using the XMP settings is usually enough to function exactly as it should be functioning. If that makes sense. I really wish I could get rid of the renewed. That would shut down so much of this. Because we're on page 5 and we still haven't seen like a modern card. Besides that 5060, but is the 5070 series that much more expensive? Let's just search 5070 GPU. I mean, it'll make a difference for sure, but you're not going to notice anything unless you're trying to manually tweak it. But I wouldn't recommend doing anything outside of the XMP profiles, because you can try to do it, but once you start to adjust voltage heavily and you adjust those sort of things, you're just going to run into more chances of system instability, and it's not going to be worth it for the slight performance gains you could get. But the general, the timings that the RAM can go to, theoretically, yeah, there'd be no issues with the Intel side. Within that XMP profile. All right, so we got the 5070 here. I wouldn't go any, I mean, if you're trying to get into it, like if I had to buy a brand new card for my system, I'd probably go with a 5070 or a 5070 Ti. But that's a hard pill to swallow right there at that price range. So just kind of sticking with this, this is a pretty happy medium, where it's a 5060, so it's current, 300 bucks. That's a fine cost for a graphics card. My first ever PC that I built was a $300 graphics card. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, whether or not this is going to be equivalent to the AMD stuff, does Asus make, yeah. Let's see what they got on the AMD side. For roughly the same cost, right? That's renewed. What is the all right, hold on here. What is the what's the AMD equivalent? So it's the RX 9060 XT. 9060 XT. But let's go with 16 gigs of RAM. So you're talking about another 140 bucks more for something that's equivalent on the AMD side, as according to Google there. So I wouldn't recommend that. I would recommend this 5060 then, not the 3060. If you want to go a little bit higher, the 5060 Ti, definitely one of those two. Where did the other one go? Did I get rid of it? Or did I add it to the cart? I added it to the cart. Okay. So every component that we can think of for this budget PC build is now in the cart. And the grand total, maybe in edit and post, we can have the number up, we can have the number up here hidden, and then it appears Just notes for me or delete when we edit this video. $1,079.84 for a Dontech certified budget PC build. That's pretty good. The only places you could save money is if you wanted to go much cheaper on the motherboard and get a manufacturer that I would not recommend. Find somewhere a $50 plastic cheapy case that may not come with fans, that may not cool well, that I wouldn't recommend. Go down to 16 gigs of RAM, which might save you 20, 30 bucks. Go with a mechanical hard drive that might save you 10 bucks. Cooler, can't change that, that's amazing. Go with a lesser grade power supply or a CX series that might save you 20 bucks. That can hurt you in the long run. And possibly try to find a renewed or used graphics card that, again, your mileage will vary with anything used because you just don't know the history and how well it's been kept up. But I'm pretty satisfied with that overall. 1,100 bucks based. Compare this to what you have, right? Like, see your system settings, see if you got the same quality of things of what I was able to find. So this is a true budget build that will last you and serve you well. I can't guarantee it's going to be the same 8 to 10 years that my personal builds have, but I know that it's not going to be a cheap 4-year build. Looking through this though, for me personally, the weakest link is the board. But even still, that's not a weak link at all. That's just the weakest link. If you had the additional cash, going to, spending more on that wouldn't be a problem. And then that's not bad. It's not bad overall. I may do an AMD budget build as well. That could be kind of fun. A lot of the stuff would pretty much stay the same. We just swap out the board and the processor. Because the other stuff is such a core foundation to everything that it wouldn't make any sense to change it. Because what it stands for to me is the quality and longevity. But that's not bad. So what I'm going to do now, I'll probably film my own outro later. I don't know. Maybe I'll film it in this one. But I'm going to add all of these parts to my Amazon storefront. Wait, let me, I gotta add all these. There'll be some fun stuff there. So maybe I'll do the outro, then I'll kind of be done with that sort of stuff. But so there you have it, the Dontech's full-fledged ultimate budget gaming PC. These are the parts that I would recommend if you wanted to shop and save a little bit of money, but also still have the recommended quality that a true PC professional can give. Go back to the cart. Now keep in mind, the budget PC builds still do not include many of the accessories you need to be a PC gamer. On top of needing Windows 10 or 11, which you can get in various different ways, you would also need to have a desk, a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse, speakers or headphones, and any other accessories that you would want if you're going to be chatting with friends, like a microphone or a webcam. So those things can easily add another $300 to $500, if not more. Not to mention, you also need some place to sit. So all of those things kind of take that budget and throw it out of the window. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments down below or anything like that. And you can find the shopping link in the description below where you can find these exact parts on Amazon. Thank you so much for watching this video. And remember, the Don's got your back. You definitely spent $200 on Windows 11? Yeah. No, I found the way that you can activate it easily with a command prompt. I was like, whoa. Spent $40 on a keyboard, $50 on a mouse to smoke kids in Counter-Strike. I'm terrible. I bought a whole bunch of these mice. This is a Logitech G602. It's a wireless mouse, and the batteries last 250 hours, and they take AA batteries. I love this mouse. I had 5 of them at one point, but they're slowly dying off, so I think I only have 1 or 2 more new in box. And yeah, the G502, I think that's like the one afterwards, and they have like a wire and a wireless version. I think I have a 502 as well at my main computer, but it like recharges. All right, and then end at about 2:16. Okay, so then file, save as. Where did it save to? Let's see. Let's see, what is today? You snagged yours for about what I put there? 4060 and a Ryzen 5 9600. I'm curious as to how much that is. The Ryzen 5. So roughly similar cost. My processor was 180. That's about the same cost here. You got a 6-core though. I got a 10-core. Not like it really matters. Is that? Yeah, 10-core. Oh, it's the 6 plus 4, but. All right, well, that's that then. So I'm just going to finalize then the rest of the stream just by going through and adding anything, answering your guys' questions, but I'm done with the structured recording piece of it. So I can't make that, I can do that, but then it's going to look like terrible. Okay. That's fine. I'll just add the other thing here. Because I need to create this on browse history. Does it show up? Cool. All right, so I need to add everything here. I need to search for it on my actual Amazon. And then I can add it to my shopping cart. And then if you guys purchase something using my Amazon link, I get a small little kickback because I am an Amazon associate. Because I am a very special individual. I'm a online shopping influencer, if they would. Even though I prefer the term. Educational educator. One of those two. Done with that one, and add another product for my browse history. Amazon makes it kind of easy. What's it right now? I don't understand the exchange rates. Except I know that, yeah, the Canadian people get smoked. Wait, I can just add everything. Oh, okay. Make that even easier. Power supply. Case. SSD. Nice, okay. It's got 9 things, so I messed up. Wait, that one. Let's see, bring that to the top. On the back burner. One time, one of my memories is when I was in Canada. We went to Tim Hortons Donuts. And we paid $20. I just don't remember if it was Canadian or American. And we got more change back than what we paid. I just remember that being like a really cool thing. I was like, whoa. I was young when that happened. But that's what I remember. Tim Hortons and getting more change back. And let's see, save and submit. We love your new idea list. When it's approved, it'll be published on Amazon. Bro. All right, then Amazon.com/shop/TheDonTech. I guess it's approved. All right. If you guys want to see exactly what I bought, how I bought it, when I bought it, well, I didn't buy it yet. I'm not going to buy it. That should be it. How cool is that? The people that work at Tim's have a tendency to miscount. I'll take it. Oh, I like that a lot. That's really, really cool. The DonTech earns commissions. Hey, see that little... What's that? Follow me on Amazon. Oh, gosh. I have enough troubles getting people to follow me on anywhere else. The last 20 years we had equal exchange. Yeah, this would have been... Oh, gosh. At least 25 years ago that I was in Canada. Wait, is it weird that after I left Canada, you were born? Just put it out there. Only you bring out this side of me based. All right, so how are we doing on the earned analytics? Anything yet? Nope, getting reviewed. It may take up to a month for my review to go through. Okay, I need to add this to my personal reference links on Amazon links. That's pretty sweet. More from the DonTech, all my streaming gear and my gaming PC items. Oh no, okay, I need to get a different case in there then. Man, the 5070 Ti is $1,000. Golly. What's my streaming gear that I use? I think people are getting weirded out that people who look over the age of 20 know how to use a computer. Do they really, though? That's part of the... I mean, I ran the internet back in the day, my friend. The computers, the internet, all that stuff. The millennials, we ran it. All right, so let's see. I'll probably be live for another 20 minutes max, maybe. We got 8 concurrent viewers, which is really helping the watch hours. Really, really helps the watch hours there. Because that's 8, what was that? That's at least like, that's over 16 watch hours just from 2 hours of a video. I cannot complain with that. I'm wondering every day if I want to mention how many hours we have to go. Well, I can't actually see. I don't know if it's going to tell me. Ah, geez. I've been obsessing over my watch hours, so I don't know if I can check anymore. Huh. What GPU brands should you avoid? It's easier to tell you who to get. Buy Asus and EVGA. But EVGA doesn't make them anymore, so it's really just Asus. Gigabyte would be a very distant second. And then anything else afterwards, I just can't. I've seen them all fail. Like crazy. Just failures. They just don't have the same quality if they're made from, like Asus and EVGA. Those were the ones that made it as decently as possible. And if you get the NVIDIA, like actual OEM one, there's nothing wrong with that either. But when the cards first come out, though, that's where you're kind of stuck. That you can't get what you'd actually want. Sometimes you have to buy a Zotac because that's all that's available. Or you have to buy a PNY because that's all that's available. But bottom rung right there. Gen Alpha is crazy in general there. I feel for them kids. I don't get it. I mean, I was at the store, and I'm seeing like skibby-dibby toilet stuff being advertised as merch. I don't get it, man. You've got the last EVGA 30 series. Wish it didn't stop making GPUs. Yeah, they made really, really, really good GPUs. I think I had a 1070 from them, and I think that was the last I got from them because everything else has been Asus on my side. Except this system in here, this is I'm actually doing a different editing streaming PC in here because I got my whole room to myself to do this. This has an HP type. Or it was pulled, it's a 2080 Ti that was pulled from an HP. That's what I know. I don't even know if I have CPU-Z on here. Nope. Let me see if Hardware Monitor will tell me anything about the graphics card. Or actually, performance, what do I got here? Just, it's an NVIDIA GeForce. I mean, this might be an NVIDIA-based one. Anyway. Wow, that sucker's running 70 degrees Celsius right now. No wonder why it's so hot when I stream in here. Eventually, though, if I get a nicer graphics card to replace my 3080, the 3080 will go in this rig, and then I'll have this 2080 Ti. I don't know what will go there. I actually do have a 3080 at work that I got for free as well. Why do I get all these free cards? As you typed brain rot, yep. Chronically online too, which is such a thing. Let's see. All right, let's see. I'm not going to notice how hot it is in this room until I leave this room. All right, it doesn't show there what type it is. So it just might be NVIDIA. Who knows? Yeah, remember, tomorrow, as long as I get my button gear, let me show you the thumbnail for it, if I can. Can I? Yeah, I'm sure I can bring it. One of the smartest and best things I did was outsource my thumbnails. I still make some of my thumbnails, but I outsource most of them now. I was getting caught up on them. So this is a sneak peek at the thumbnail for tomorrow. ESU sign up hack. So that'll be coming out probably 10:30 tomorrow. I still have some final edits to make on the video, but yeah. So I'll have that coming out. I might have a short coming out later today for a graphics card, I'd say, because I recently reviewed that. I like to kind of keep them all copacetic. And then I'll have a short on Saturday, Sunday. Then Monday I'll have another short and a stream probably on that Monday, followed with another long form video of a review on Tuesday, and then another Windows video on that following Friday. I need like a coming soon. Ugh, wrong thing. Why would I grab that? I want to grab that. There we go. Yeah. So I think the new content makes the mental equivalent as the kids who would show you gore for a kick. These kids ain't all right, man. I just started streaming a couple of weeks ago there, Austin. I am trying to stream 2 days a week, Mondays and Thursdays when I have time that permits. And it usually would go from about, when I started this one, about 2.5 hours ago. Mondays, a little bit more limited, though, than Thursdays. But yeah, I actually also used to stream on Twitch, doing gaming and beating people like Based or Big G in Smash all the time. So that was fun. But you're going to take off. Thank you for coming on in, my friend. It was nice to talk to you again. Good luck on your job hunt. Definitely keep me up to date and let me know if you get one. How do I have like 4 spam calls, man? It's so crazy. So many spam calls. So many spam calls. Yeah, I know I at least plan on streaming frequently and regularly until we get full monetization, which we're less than 1,000 hours to go now, because that's been a big goal for this channel, is to get monetization to really take it to the next level. But I do love streaming. It's really just a matter of having ideas like this one. It is fantastic to do that. I love answering questions, to helping you guys and going through these things. I might build a AMD equivalent system. Could always show that as well. Top of the line. Like if I had an infinite amount of money and I wanted to build a PC, what's the exact PC I would buy? That's also one as well that I would do. And then I can make them as the lists on Amazon and sell them. So that's always cool. So I am 900, as of this morning, 989 hours away from being monetized. Hopefully to have it done within a month. My goal in the beginning, though, was by the end of this year. So I am far ahead of my goal. But until my goal is met, I cannot stop. So that's why, like right now, every minute is 8 minutes being counted. So it's hard to hit end stream. It's hard to just not go like, I should put up some like WoW videos of me or something like that. Just like watch me play WoW. But I want it to be that when people come here, they actually know that they're getting something decent. So I'm trying not to take advantage of that scenario. Ooh, I'm gonna go back to Bluesky though, see if I got any blue skies. Nothing on Bluesky, as expected. Yeah, no, YouTube is quite the grind because you need to have 4,000 hours within a calendar year. So every day I'm losing hours from a year ago. Fortunately, I only had about maybe 4 hours a day a year ago, so I'm not losing a lot, and I'm gaining about 25 to 30 hours a day. So it's far outweighing that. And then you also have to have 1,000 subs. But fun fact, when I get monetized again, it will be my third daggone time being monetized. Because I've been on YouTube since 2015, 16, doing this channel, and various things have gotten in the way, but I was monetized way back at 2015, 16. And then it got taken away because I didn't have enough subscribers. They changed it so you had to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And I was far above the watch hours at that point, but I had like 500 subs or something. I did a video about it on my channel, and I just never got monetized. And then I did a giveaway where I was giving away a laptop, and I shot up in subscribers. Then I got monetized. But then I got extremely busy in life, and I couldn't produce any more content. And because of which, I lost monetization again. This was about 2021, 2022. And so then I was like, I need to be monetized. I hit YouTube back again April last year. I started to get back into it seriously, April 2024, and I've been hitting it hard and ever since. And then I finally found a really big stride, and my stuff has just exploded. Where now I'm at like almost 2,300 subscribers. That's gone up like crazy in the past 2 months. And watch hours just exploding. So my information about Windows 10 and these build guides and everything are really pushing the channel forward. So I'm really heavily leaning into that. And then I found out that watch hours also help, because every hour, like I said, it counts. And then this becomes a video on demand after it's done. So anybody that watches this afterwards also contributes to the watch hours. So it's a triple dip. And then when I make a video and edit the video based on this information, you know, yeah, the 265K video is like third in the list. Isn't that great? I've gotten such a nice stride with the search engine optimization as well. Like if you were to search that processor, and let's just go and see here. If you were to search that processor, let's see, so about 2:30, yeah, so I will be finishing up here then, winding down the stream. And nothing else has happened, so cool, I got the nice documentation, so that'll make it nice, but I've got to get these reactions. But yeah, I appreciate your support, my friend. It's funny enough, I'm not using that processor in this one. I'm using the i7 13th gen. But that's how it goes sometimes. I've got like 4 main PCs in my house, all for different purposes. So this is the best one to stream from. But yeah, all right, so let me go and close that down. Yep. I got this PC that I stream from. It's wall mounted, out of frame. That's the best I can get. I can't move the camera. And I've got my main gaming PC that I built that's out there. And I've got my wife's PC and our old streaming PC when we did gaming streams. That one has a 9th gen processor though, but they're all built within the same structure, and they all last, and they all just work perfectly fine. So no complaints, no complaints. Let's go to the intermission. Oh, here was that my water bottle? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, whew, what a nice stream there. We got the recording. And yeah, but that's pretty much everything. I think I'll just go ahead and wind it down here. I want to keep staying though for those 8 concurrent, but it's okay. There's no way that I can continue it without taking advantage of the system overall, and that's the last thing that I want to do. Cool. And then I don't think I have anybody that I can raid on YouTube, but that's okay. Eventually, I wouldn't mind going to Twitch as well. Doing some Twitch streams, multi-stream, that wouldn't be too bad. Maybe doing some gaming. I do love to game as well. I just don't have time to game. Next stream, I may work on my website. I don't know. But just general Q&As and just kind of sitting here while I'm sitting here, I want to always have something that I can do that pushes the, the needle forward and everything. But yeah, 2 hours and 40 minutes. That'll end it for this stream. Thank you guys, everybody that has come here in the past, in the present, and in the future. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you, Austin, for coming on in. Protein Reverie. If I got that right, I'll have to check my notes. Based, always nice to see him again as well. And then we had Metro Gaming HD also coming on in. So not a bad day. Always great to talk with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, my name is The Don. This has been The Don Tech. And The Dons got your back. See you on Monday.